Good, thanks.
Good. You've been involved against the All Blacks a lot of times. You've been involved in some pretty close games as well, challenged them hard. How does this week feel in comparison maybe to those weeks in particular?
The honest answer is we don't know probably until after the result. We've had a good 2 weeks prep, and it's been a positive squad considering everything that's going on. I know a lot's been said. I spoke to a few guys on Wednesday about obviously what's the precursor of 2 years, 18 months, and what's been. But we're at a junction now that we're getting back to normality with fans. A few guys with opportunity and a bit of squad depth that's been forced, obviously, because we're outside the window and injuries and what have you. So there's a positive outlook, but the honest answer is we'll find out where we are and how good a week or 2 weeks it's been, at the end of the whistle, or the end of the game, sorry.
What do you make of the side the All Blacks have picked? Because a lot of focus on the players you don't have. They certainly haven't taken any pity on that.
Yeah, very, very much so. You want to play international level against the best, and they obviously picked a strong side. They made a lot of changes last week in their game against USA. They've obviously been on the road a while. They've had a few guys that went ahead and a few guys that have come into their squad late. So I don't know whether it's form selection, rotation, whatever. They've obviously gone with a strong side. But saying that, and I know you guys have heard it before, they've got the play base and the succession that you're always going to face a strong side. And we were aware that's going to be the case, whatever individuals or teams they picked.
Another landmark for you. I know you like to play these things down often, but no one's played for their country more than you will have done tomorrow. That's quite a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously, I don't want to get bogged down on the individuality of things and where I find myself. But it's something I'll recognise my family, but obviously there's a job of work to do first and foremost, and then we'll look at those things after.
And if that record's going to go in the next couple of years, it's probably Sam Whitelock who may be in position to do it. They've actually got a more experienced second row pairing than you do. Just what do you make of Retallick and Whitelock as people to play against?
Well, as I said on Wednesday, they've got the partnership record now. I think they took it from Matfield and Botha a couple of years ago. So they've obviously been in situ for a long time. The numbers stack up, but I think before you talk about stats and whatever, the way they share the load and the way they are a duo in the boiler house. Their reputation and scorecard speaks for themselves. So you pride yourself on your individual performance when you come up against a role like that. You've definitely got to lift it.
And finally, from me, just to have the crowd back, when do you think you'll sense that first? Will it be the way into the ground or when you walk out? When will that hit you?
I think there's going to be numerous occasions along the way. I think it's been a very strange, not only international but domestic, that we've seen the reintroduction of fans and the way it's slowly built back up. And dare I say, it's funny, the things that you really miss, and the stark reality, the things you miss when they're not there. So to have the drive in, and then obviously the build up in the stadium, all those things are going to be taken note of. And it's nice to be home with, hopefully another 70,000 spectators.
Thanks very much.
Hi, Alan. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yep.
Yeah, just with regards to that, Ian Foster was asked yesterday, what will he tell the New Zealand players who haven't experienced the Principality Stadium atmosphere? What will you tell the guys who we've alluded to who've only played in front of no crowds to expect tomorrow evening?
Oh, we're at home. I think that a lot of guys have experienced it, but like I said, not with fans. I think to have the fans back and that anticipation, on the big occasions, you feel it in the air, you feel the build up, and that's been no different to the last couple of weeks probably, and definitely the last few days building up to it, because it is very different. Obviously, I think the roof's going to be open, so hopefully the city feels it as well. But as a squad and a player group, we're definitely relishing the opportunity to be back there and experience what we've some of us have missed for a long time, and some have never experienced.
How special is playing the All Blacks perhaps compared with other nations, Alan?
I think obviously before anybody asks, I'm aware of the history and record, and it was only brought up to our attention, or we were only reminded of it rather on Wednesday. So all that's what's gone before us is always there. You can't change that, but it's an opportunity to try and potentially create history. It's not going to be easy, and they probably want to continue their history on that side as well. What they've achieved and the individuals they've had that's gone through their jersey, you're up against not just a team, but obviously a backlog of quality players and games that is what's coming on Saturday.
And final one for me, Alan. What's Wayne been like this week? It'll be the first time he's coached against New Zealand, where obviously he's from. How has he been?
Is the same. Nothing's really changed. I think it's been good to see. I think the coaches and management as a group have realised the junction of we're at, and that coming back to normality on one side of things and the start of the international calendar on another. So there's a lot of info to take in that first week, but Wayne and the coaches have been steadfast in their approach and no real reaction or changing anything, which is really positive, because I was asked about progression as well. We probably missed out on particularly that summer tour where we were going to go south, and it's been dishevelled since. But we just need to continue that progression, and the Wayne and the coaches have continued with that mindset and those communication.
Alun Wyn, it's Alex here. You've achieved a lot yourself and as a team in the last sort of 18 months with no fans, but as well as the crowds coming back, is it nice to be able to have your family, and will your wife and daughters be able to come to this game now?
Yeah, like everyone else is. So it's nice to have our families there. And I get it. I said there's a few guys that probably still, I don't think, might be a couple that haven't had families to watch them play. So that'll be good when everyone's back in. But yeah, we all have our families there, and it's something to enjoy. And like I say, in this junction, back to normality rather than out of normality, you're gonna make the most of it.
And you've talked a lot about the guys that aren't available, but when you see Ken Owens go down late on Thursday, I mean, what's your reaction as a captain? Does it kind of feel like everything's stacked against you? What's your reaction when you see that? No,
knowing Ken, he probably could have got on and played and done a job, but it's not about that. It's about the player and looking at the campaign as a whole. Hopefully be able to feature, but it is what it is. It's another opportunity for someone else, like I said, because when I was asked on the Wednesday, yes, it's outside the window. Yes, we haven't got these players available, but it is what it is. We have to move on, and it rolls on, and that's where we find ourselves.
And just lastly, from me, I mean, someone like Kirby Mihail's come in late and come straight onto the bench. How does that affect prep? I mean, I guess it's not ideal to have someone coming in so quickly.
Oh, it's a test of character for the individual, but there's more of us than him that have been here, so it's down to us to get him up to speed, not necessarily the responsibility on him. He's been really diligent since he's come in, and there's no probably better game to be involved in, the first one in the campaign against New Zealand. So again, it is what it is, and that's where the professional element of the game is accentuated, and that's where the focus. We're up to speed now, and there's no more captain's run to do. It's just the game day.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Hi, Alun Wyn. Hoping my Wi-Fi is better this time. With those guys that haven't yet played in front of a packed Principality Stadium crowd, is there a bit of an education thing that you need to do in the week about what that's all like and how you cope with a big atmosphere like that? Because it has been a long time for some of these guys in front. They haven't played in front of a proper.
The funny thing is, I can completely understand the question, but a lot of these guys will have been, as I did before I became an international, before I became a full-time professional. I'd been to internationals, so that you grow up in Wales. That is your education. You want to, if I want to use an American term, when you go to the big house, in the big house, and everyone's going to be there on Saturday. So I think for a lot of the players, that education has probably been the foundations have been laid from a young age. Now the chance to be able to step on across the whitewash and see it from the inside is what it's all about once you become a pro, and that's what we've got at our feet tomorrow.
I suppose the other element to what I meant was, are there bits and pieces that you guys who've done it for ages know about, i.e. things that communication, you can't hear each other on the pitch and things like that? Whereas
yeah, most definitely those are the obvious things. Even probably the messages, because it can get very loud from staff and stuff. But again, it's stuff that is essentially accentuated that we're dealing domestically. It's just elevated, obviously, because of the numbers, etc. But we've done a bit of speaker stuff with lineup calling just to prepare for that. We've done it in the past, just to create noise and try and make it as close to what it's going to be like. So you anticipate all that sort of stuff, and you try and prep as best you can. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Cool, thank you.
Hello, Alun Wyn. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I was just wondering, most of the time when you're playing an opposition, there are people within the camp who know what it is to beat that opposition. Clearly, you know that everyone's banged on about the record. I mean, where does the belief come from this week, and how do you instill that in the rest of your squad?
It's a great question, because the funny thing, it's got to happen. So, the hoodoo and the record's got to go at some point. But what I did say is we need a performance. I keep talking about this period of coming into a new campaign and all the external things that are going on. Dare I say it, who's the pressure on? Is it us? Is it New Zealand? I don't know. It depends on the neutral and that opinion. But it's going to go sooner or later, whether it's yesterday, today, tomorrow, whatever. So we just need to focus on the rugby, and I think that comes back to the messaging we've had from the Wayne and the management is focus on us, get our completions in and our execution, and we'll be where we want to be, irrelevant of the result.
And is there anything from your Lions experience that you can draw on this week in terms of playing New Zealand?
It's a similar colour jersey, but it's a very, very different badge. I'm very cautious of making too many comparisons there for obvious reasons. But I appreciate the sentiment, but it's a very different jersey.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheers, guys.